law and lawbreakers,
blowhards and liars.
Mainly, though, On the Media is about an hour. Please spend it with us.
Saturday mornings at 7 on KSJE, Farmington.
Thane Maynard here. The 90-Second Naturalist is a compact little radio show with expansive goals to raise awareness and improve understanding of the natural world. To do this, we take just 90 seconds and present stories about the plants and animals around us. The facts are fun, the sound effects are neat, and the host ain't so bad either. Please join me for the 90-Second Naturalist.
Listen every weekday afternoon during the KSJE Evening News at 5:30.
Tune in for Philosophy Talk, the program that questions everything
except your intelligence.
Coming up, foreign aid or injury?
Developed nations have an obligation to lead the fight against global poverty.
Maybe so, but the only people actually assisted by foreign aid are corrupt dictators and their cronies.
But why does foreign aid have to be channeled through governments? Can't we be smarter and more targeted?
Foreign aid or injury? Next time on Philosophy Talk.
Listen to Philosophy Talk today at noon on KSJE 90.9 FM, Farmington. This program is supported by San Juan Health Partners Urology, providing a wide range of personalized services for the whole family, including children. Our caring professionals are dedicated to helping meet your urology health needs with skill, experience, and service you need. For a complete listing of our services and to learn more, visit sanjuanhealthpartners.com or call 505-609-6300. San Juan Health Partners Urology, a division of San Juan Regional Medical Center. Eleven minutes past 8 o'clock. It's Tuesday morning here at KSJE, December the 18th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin, and thank you for tuning in this morning. Coming up in just a moment on the program, my guest this morning from the Aztec School District. Our theme this morning is celebration, so we hope you will stay tuned and celebrate along with us in just a few moments here on KSJE. A reminder, too, later on this morning, we'll be checking in with folks at the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter. They'll be showing us some of the pets that are available for adoption. And again, if you are watching our visual radio program this morning on the KSJE Facebook page or YouTube channel, you'll be able to see those pets when we show them to you, coming up this morning at 8:55. 9 a.m., Mick Hess will be here. He is roving with the arts, and this morning Mrs. Mick is playing some Christmas specials for us, some special Christmas music, so that's coming up today at 9 on KSJE. And we remind you, there are lots of ways to connect with us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook, of course. We have 2 Twitter feeds, because why not? KSJE_news or at KSJE for regular station and program information. Our YouTube channel at KSJE, you can find us there, and of course the brand new KSJE page on Instagram. So we hope you will connect with us and stay connected to everything that's coming from KSJE. Well, as I mentioned, my guest this morning from the Aztec School District. It's always great to have them here in the studio with me. Superintendent Kirk Carpenter is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Happy holidays.
Same to you.
I like your Christmas tie.
I got to have the spirit.
You do.
Support the season, and always a pleasure to be here.
Exactly. Great to have you here. Tania Prokops also with us, Deputy Superintendent. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Scott.
Thank you for being here as well. And as we start with our theme of celebration, there are lots to talk about. We were just kind of going through the list this morning, right?
There is a lot to talk about, and I think what's probably appropriate maybe is to start with the elementary schools, and nobody better to do that than Ms. Prokops. So I guess this is a part of a job as a superintendent. Sometimes you get to delegate, but
you just get out of the way, right? And let your staff.
Yep. We have great staff, and Ms. Prokops does a wonderful job and spent a lot of her career at elementary. So I'm going to let her start and talk about some of the celebration and good things happening at the elementary schools.
We will turn the focus to her then, Tania Prokops, and celebrating in the elementary schools.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to dovetail in together with
I
this.
think you will.
And 'tis the season to be jolly, right? So let's celebrate.
Right.
One of the things that's happening at our K-3 schools, that's Lydia Rippey and McCoy, are ambassador programs. And what they will eventually lead up into is like a student leadership team. But these ambassador programs, students kind of try out for. They have to apply for them. There's a little application process.
Okay.
And then they get chosen. And it's through grades 1st through 3rd. Kinder's still a little bit too young to be part of the program. They're just learning what school's all about. So it's really up to the 1st through the 3rd graders. And they're really about helping those ambassador programs. They're really about helping the school community, the Aztec community, and even the San Juan County community. So some of the things that the ambassador programs are doing are collecting items for the shelter, the animal shelter that's in Aztec. So blankets, food, toys. So they've done drives for that. They've made blankets, the fleece blankets that you tie together, and they've made these lovely blankets for programs like CYFD for the kiddos that maybe aren't in homes right now.
Right. The foster children or children like that that are
Thank
waiting
you.
for placement.
Yes,
Sure.
exactly. So they're making blankets for them. They're also making blankets for children that are in the hospital, having to battle different illnesses. So they're making these cozy blankets for them. They're doing different things even for their school communities. They'll see kids on the playground that maybe don't have anybody to play with and seem lonely, and they'll take it upon themselves to reach out to them. They'll work with mediating out on the playground. So if they see that some of their peers are having some kind of a problem on the playground, they'll kind of insert themselves and help to solve the problem.
Those are some pretty adult topics for
Isn't it
young
great?
kids, right?
Sure. So 1st grade, you're looking at somewhere around 7 years old.
Right.
And up to 3rd grade, so you're looking somewhere around 9 and 10. And those are happening at both schools. And they have great little T-shirts that they wear when they're out on the playground. They have vests that are brightly colored so that other students can reach out to them. It's spreading like wildfire. And this last Thursday, we had the group from McCoy. Yes, from
Did you?
McCoy present. The month before that, we had Lydia Rippey presenting. And those, they just make you smile. Our school board president always starts the school board meeting with the pledge. Pledge of Allegiance, and then the salute to the flag of New Mexico. And to hear these young voices, I know I wasn't the only one that teared up and stopped saying the pledge, because just the sound of the kiddos saying the pledge was just, it's just perfect. It's just the right thing.
Nice. And this is something to help them, again, learn about this type of leadership and volunteering and things along that line at this early age?
Absolutely.
Part of this?
So the 3 of us know all about Leadership San Juan.
We do.
And that's an adult program to be a leader in our community. And I look at this program, and it so mirrors what we do with Leadership San Juan and servant leadership. And to start that at such a young age. And then they'll feed into Park Avenue, which is a 4th and 5th grade school, that their program isn't called Ambassadors, but they're actually called a Student Leadership Program. And it, again, does all these things that I've already kind of described, but yet at a more elevated level now, because now you've got them to be about 10 years old all the way up to around 12 years old. But still, that idea of servant leadership. And it's all based around a program that we're doing at these elementary schools called PACS. And it's a positive behavior kind of support program. So the whole school has different they all have the same expectations, but there's a certain way to behave in the hallway. There's a level that your voice needs to be in the hallway. There's a level that your voice should be when the teacher's instructing. If you're starting to get a little bit too noisy or too rambunctious, teachers have a harmonica, and they play just a little on the harmonica, right? A little melody on the harmonica, and students right away just raise like a peace sign, 2 fingers up, to acknowledge that they're back on track and back with the teacher. We've even done it with our bus drivers. Now, our bus drivers are not playing the harmonica and driving at the same time. So
Okay.
I just want to put that out there.
Good to know.
But if the bus driver stops at a stop and kids are exiting the bus or entering the bus and the others are getting a little rambunctious, bus drivers also have a harmonica. They play a little tune, and the kids know that it's time to refocus, that they were getting a little bit out of bounds a little bit
Right.
with the expectation.
Nice. And that seems to be, I mean, and to have it consistent like that, the kids, I guess, know what that means when they hear that harmonica
Absolutely.
sound, whether it's on the bus or in the classroom or have you.
Absolutely. It's that consistency, and it doesn't matter which school you're at, it's the same thing that's happening. So if you switch schools in our district, or as you move up through the system, that's the program that you're going to see. And actually, McCoy and Lydia Rippey have preschoolers. So it's from our preschoolers all the way up to our fifth graders. So you're looking
Nice.
at our little 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, all the way up to about 10, 11, 12.
Very nice. Can we get that to happen in Congress, do you think? Would you send that
That
along?
would be nice. Maybe we can start. at
Imagine
state
the
level. That'd be
harmonica
great.
you'd have to use
Okay,
there.
it'd be loud. Yeah, it'd be kind of
ours
a
are
big
little
one.
ones.
I understand.
But
Very
yeah.
good. Well, and Mr. Carpenter, let me ask you about this as superintendent. Of course, this is a great lesson for these kids to be able to learn at a young age and continue on from their early grades into the kind of the elementary school grades.
No, absolutely. It's a tremendous program. You know, we had heard about it, and we actually came over to Farmington. Northeast Elementary School was actually, they did kind of a documentary on what they're doing with this. And this they do it in different parts of the country, but Northeast has really mastered a lot of this. And it's always nice when you have a neighbor that has put something in place. And Miss Young, her staff over there, they've done a tremendous job. So to have a neighbor that's put something in place and to be able to go over and watch what's happening, that always gives you an opportunity to work out some of the early bugs. But it has been great. And, you know, it's the consistency, like Ms. Prokops said. And whether it's the hand signals or the harmonicas, and people may say, well, what are you really teaching? But it's those cues. And kids also regulate. They regulate themselves. And anytime you can cut down on some of those class interruptions, it increases learning time, and that's the overall goal. It's not just the behavior pieces, it's to cut down on that so you increase the academic minutes, that increases learning time, and when you really think about what you can do over the course of a year, that's huge. Roger Collins, our board president, a few years ago mentioned it. And we were able to actually get a grant. It started at Park, our 4th and 5th grade school, Miss Laws and one of our social workers there. And they were able to get the grant, Mr. Campos. And from there, we spread it out. We were able to find some funding to get it at the other 2 elementary schools. And I guess that's the fortunate of being a small district. And it's just been great. But I think the other side of this with the ambassador programs, and I said it in the board meeting, sometimes we do not give our kids enough credit for what they can contribute, some of their ideas, their leadership, and we heard it from the teachers, that a lot of the ideas on things they want to do at the campuses and some of the things they can do, they can do it, especially nowadays. I think maybe when I was growing up, you probably didn't want to ask me too much input. But kids today,
Right.
they can give a lot of input.
Yeah.
And we need to ask them more about their education, more ideas on leadership. Obviously, we can regulate the things we need to, but they need more control of their education, more control at their schools. They really do. And it's fun to see them even at like math night. When you go to math night, the ambassadors are the first ones you run into. They're there to greet you. They ask you to sign in. They ask you if you have questions, what you need. They give you a little introduction of what you're going to see. The ownership that goes into their school and the pride, that's exactly what you want. Because that feeds into ownership into their education, their learning, everything. And it really, you know, as I talk about this, it gives me chills because that's what we need. We need more things, as I've said before, to teach our kids how to be human, get them away from some of the technology and the things that we want them to be, and that's the interaction with adults and with each other. And it's a beautiful thing when you hear kids talk about on the playground. They have places for kids if they feel lonely, that those kids can go sit at a bench, and these kids look for that so that they can go over to the bench and sit with those kids and find ways to make sure those kids aren't isolated. And that's what we need in our society. And so it really is a beautiful thing that's happening in all the elementaries, and it's fostering that all the way through to create that kind of a culture in your district. And you do it one kid at a time.
That's great, and it's almost like you're in my head a little bit, Mr. Carpenter, because I was going to ask you about ownership and these programs and giving kids ownership of their school, of some of their programs and things like that, or at least taking part in making some of these decisions, even at a young grade. That's got to be something that is helpful for them and encouraging to get them involved, right?
Absolutely, and I think the beautiful part of this is not only with the PACS program, but with some of the other programs, that we've talked about before with the Sandy Hook Promise programs. It mixes right in with it. That just to say hello and start with hello and to say something, all of this, it just dovetails beautifully. And we always talk in our district about we don't want buy-in, we want ownership. If with buy-in you sell out, and the ownership of your school and changing the culture of your school, it has to start at the elementary. It has to continue. And creating these types of programs with kids, the leadership skills, as Ms. Prokop talked about, you cannot underestimate what kids at any grade level can do. And you cannot underestimate the contributions they can give. And to see what these young kids are doing, it's absolutely amazing. And commend the adults, because they too have to have ownership and believe in their kids and in what they can contribute. And we're seeing some great things. And there is a lot to celebrate, not just in the learning. Because I believe too that it's going to take learning to a different level just because we can believe in what our kids can do. We need to stop trying to set everything for our kids and ask our kids what they need and what they can do. And it goes in this whole idea of leadership and what they want at their schools. They are kids. They also have feelings. They know what kids need, right, and what they can do for their classmates. And these kinds of programs, we're seeing a big difference. We're seeing less behavioral issues because some of our kids are dealing with those issues. And so it's very heartwarming to see what's happening. There's still a lot of things we still need to continue to do, but some of our problems need to be solved by our kids. And,
very good.
With kids.
Right.
So it's fun to watch.
Excellent. And we're getting a comment from our viewers who are watching on our Facebook page about calling this a positive, building a positive culture for learning in your schools. So congratulations there. Thank you for chiming in. And if you have a comment, we invite you to make a comment on our Facebook page and let us know if you have a question for us. You can do that as well. My guest from Aztec Schools, Superintendent Kirk Carpenter, is here, Deputy Superintendent Tania Prokop. And let's take a short break. When we come back, more with my guests in just a moment right here on KSJE. The time is 8:26.
Amazon's Alexa was a surprise hit, but what's its next play? From American Public Media, this is